Hello, interwebs, it's me again. I'll be coughing and probably yawning through all of this show.
Nobody's too consistent.
But I won't be inside pain. Yay.
True.
Antibiotics made it so I can breathe again. If only that was all they did. Anyway, told you I was gonna cough. This is F3G2, and I am a sickly, sad little man who shall review comical books for you because
Ego.
it's easier than writing them. Yay!
Very true.
Because I like to feel like I'm a part of something. All right. To start off with, we have The Uncanny Avengers, number 23. The final issue of this title, but it does restore to us Wonder Man, and not the Dottie type Wonder Man, the sunglasses type Wonder Man. Yay, sunglasses type Wonder Man. High five in Beast's foot. Yeah. It leads our characters all in positions where they could pick this up again. They could go off on their own things. It was a nice time. This was the Uncanny Avengers. The Unity Squad was a surprisingly enjoyable Avengers group. As Avengers lineups go, it wouldn't have been my first. Hey, if I were going to write an Avengers, what characters would I use? These guys. No,
But it worked.
but yes, it worked really, really well. It was like my gateway Deadpool, because after that I was like, oh crap, I'm already reading a Deadpool book. I might as well read Spider-Man Deadpool because half of it is Spider-Man.
Yes.
Future Quest comes to an end. Another one that wraps up everything nicely. A little too nicely, I thought. I kind of wanted this to be more than it was. It's like by the time we had all our players together, it was like, and now we're going to figure this out and it's over. I was like, oh. We get a couple of reunions. Told you I was going to yawn too. We had a couple of reunions, so Gloop and Gleep are reunited, and it feels so good. Also, well, one character died in the first issue, so therefore, whatever. There's a hatching of a new. You'll know what's the name of the
Tundra.
Tundra? Yeah, Tundra, the rhinoceros thing. We get one, so life is good. Life goes on. The circle of Herculoids. Action get up there. Action Comics number 979. No wait, I read that backwards. It's number 979. No wait, I read that upside down. It's number 6L6. No, it's definitely 979. This does some more continuity fixing, thanks to an artifact that can change someone's history once. The human Hank Henshaw is able to turn himself back into what he's supposed to be, the cyborg Hank Henshaw Superman. What that does or doesn't do to the Zor-El cyborg Superman, I don't know. I'm hoping it's gone and never happened, in which case we all owe a big debt of gratitude to Hank Henshaw. But we get our Superman Revenge Squad. They don't play nice together, so you can see that's a problem. And in case this combo isn't volatile enough, they're going to add to it with one more member. They're going to fight the Suicide Squad and try and get Zod. The only problem in this cover design is really, I think, Henshaw should be in the middle because it's all his baby and he definitely displays his dominance. Mongo can talk all the shit he want, but Cyborg Superman knows who's in charge.
Was he a Manhunter Grandmaster again, or just Cyborg Superman?
What?
Did he become the Manhunter Grandmaster again, or just Cyborg Superman?
Just Cyborg Superman. We don't need all that. We don't need all that schmazmagismus. Batman Detective Comics 956. I'm Batman. Lady Shiva takes on her baby girl, Orphan. Orphan is badass. And Orphan shows, Batman has his reasons why he thinks Orphan should do what she's doing. Lady Shiva has her reasons for why she thinks Orphan should do what she does, and Orphan's like, well, here's why, and really lays on, really well done. Detective Comics continues to be like one of the best of the Rebirth books. Copperhead number 13. This guy yells at the sheriff who quit but didn't really quit, and Boo has a little scene here with the guy that really runs things, as he's but you get a look at is newly designated Mayor Boo really working for the baddie, or is he playing the baddie because, well, the baddie's trying to figure out what to do about Sheriff Bronson? Boo's like, Mr. Hickory, you need to trust me. Sheriff Bronson was just blowing off steam. She didn't really quit. I'll make sure she works the case the way you want it. But sometimes the best way to control someone is to let them think they're in control. And he's like, you know what? I like the way you think, Mr. Mayor. And I'm like, did he literally just tell the mayor?
Exactly.
Did he literally just tell Hickory what he's doing with Hickory? Is Hickory onto it? I can't even. It's like a puzzle and an enigma and a mystery and a question mark and a other thing that's in a quandary. You know, it's just crazy with the crazy. But I love this book. Bug! The Adventures of Forager. Which makes me mad, because my comic is called The Bug. And I can't help but think that this big bug on a DC logo puts that in a little bit of trouble for my indie published works. But I'm willing to get over it because there's like Allred cubed in here. Lee Allred, Michael Allred, Laura Allred. This is Allred. This is what's black and white and red all over. All red over. It's like a great thing with the play on the words. Anyway. Now, I don't know if this fits into Rebirth continuity. I don't care. What I do know is this picks up after, years and years after, but it picks up straight out of one of my favorite DC DC events, which was the Simple miniseries. What the hell was that called? I love it. I have the trade. They made a new trade. I didn't need it. I have the original trade. Mike Mignola did the art. Cosmic Odyssey. Loved it. And this picks up from there, so this is definitely that Forager, but it also involves, like, the Golden Age Sandman and, you know, the New Gods, sort of, and it's so good. Red Hood and the Outlaws. These two are trapped in their own heads, and Bizarro's left out in the world. Well, she's finding out all sorts of stuff. He's literally trapped in his own head. And Bizarro decides, you know, if the mountain's in the way, then you move the mountain.
Much like a Bizarro.
We get to see, while I'm sure, you know, it'll continue to define the character for very obvious reasons, and because writers. But we have a really great rendition of Jason Todd coming to terms with what happened to him with the Joker, and how he's got to, you know, get past that. You know, it's still a thing that, but you know, but he's got to. And I don't know what my hair's doing. I don't care what my hair's doing. My hair does what it wants, and as long as it's not in my see, now it's in my face. I'd rather it look stupid on a camera than it touches me. I don't like it to touch me.
Well, Clippers will solve that problem.
But anywho, it continues to be Scott Lobdell's, like, finest work, and at this point we're on issue 10. I'd say the first 5 issues were an apology
For Titans.
for like everything else he'd done for the New 52. But we've moved past the apologies accepted, and now it's just a love letter. And I read each one under the pillow with a light, and then I just smell it and go, oh, it still smells like him, because I'm just that in love.
I have no trouble picturing this.
Me neither. Misfit City #1. This book is we've all seen and we've all become obsessed with the Goonies. This, a movie based on the, it's called the Gloomies because,
Copyright.
there's laws and stuff. But this is the town where the Gloomies took place, and it's the kids that live there and have to deal with the fact that, only asshole tourists ever come there to be dicks and love the Gloomies. But then they find that there is an actual map, and treasure hunting and wackiness ensues as a group who are sick of all the idea of treasure hunting gloomy nonsense now becomes their own Gloomies with it. So it's like an homage within. It's like an Inception homage.
It's very meta.
Yeah, it's an homage within a meta, within a spoof, within a love letter, within a set. This is Avengers number 7. What's the only thing better than I'm loving Infamous Iron Man over there by Bendis, but now Mark Waid and Jeremy Whitley take on the writings with beautiful Phil Noto art. So this is basically the Avengers are there, but it's really a Marvel team up of Infamous Iron Man and the all new Unstoppable Wasp, and it's redemption for Doom. It's proving oneself for Wasp, and it's what's going on here for the Avengers. But also, it's an assessment. It's really all underneath it, based on having come from the Red Room that makes Black Widow and various Russian spies. Doom's taking out villains, and he needs to know if this girl in the Avengers is actually going to prove to be a threat. And he assesses the situation. So good, so good. Amazing Spider-Man, Renew Your Vows. This is number 7. They've been trying out to see if Annie was gonna go to the X-Men school. They tricked me. This could have been. I mean, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it. And the reason I'm not loving it is it could have been what that Superman book. I forget what the title was. For the right before Rebirth, that gave us the Superman from before time got messed up. We had the real Superman and his life deal. Yeah, they had the kid, which hadn't originally been, but that was what was going on. This could have been that, but instead it's just kind of become, it's like an Elseworld. So instead of being, here's everything you missed, it's where here's a concept that you missed within a world where you just keep, here's how we've tweaked the X-Men, and here's how we've tweaked this. So it's almost like it may as well say, what did they call those X-Men books and X-Factor books, where they weren't set in actual continuity, but they got the original writers from, what if, so-and-so had never left X-Factor, the writing team, and so they drew it from there, and then they did the same with X-Men, and they had Chris Claremont writing, 90s X-Men, and I forget what those books were. X-Men Forever, X-Factor Forever. This is basically Amazing Spider-Man Forever, which is fine, and I'm not lying, I still would have bought it, and I'd still be liking it, and I am liking it, but it really sort of hinted at being
something else.
Yeah, and I missed the something else that could have been. Amazing Spider-Man number 27. Silver Sable reveals how she lived. Green Goblin is ugly now. He's ugly. Don't change your face too many times too quickly. Don't do it. Even if Spider-Man baits you by saying, no, you can't face me with your own face. You're not man enough. And then you rush and you get a job done and you're all like, Batman villain. No, don't do it. Don't do it. It's Iggy. Also, I don't. So far, they haven't really turned it into a romantic relationship. But who would have thought that Clint Barton's ex would be such a nice fit with Spidey? I really like the interplay. As much as I'm like, yes, Spidey marries Mary Jane, and that's the way it should have been, and that's the way it should have stayed. And even without it being, I can't even tell if this is a romance or not. But I love the unlikely duo of like Spider-Man and Mockingbird. They're great. New Superman. Dun, 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 dun. We've got Superman 0. So I think some parts of Superman Rebirth, he must be one of the parts that merged over. We've got basically a turtle god who's been infected with the Doomsday virus. So he's got some problems going on. And the new Chinese Flash is, of course, Chinese American, and she's she was in the previous issue in the crossover with Superman, but she's from the Flash. She's one of the girls who kept her power post that whole lightning storm that gave that gave like everybody in not everybody, like a lot of people in what's Flash's city? Central City?
Central.
And all ended up with superpowers. Most of them gave them back up. She kept hers, and now she is. So when our boy discovers how to move his chakra and his chi and all that to get super speed, they race, because that's what Superman and Flashes do. I love that book. Really do. Scooby Apocalypse number 13 on a day when all this political horror show was happening in the news. At least we get to watch a monstrous mob take out the highly Donald Trump based Velma's older brother. So he tricked mindless monsters into thinking that he could be their leader, only to have the mindless monsters turn on him because he wasn't a good leader. If that's not even a metaphor at this point, other than the fact that they drew the mindless monsters as actual mindless monsters. That's one to grow on. Grass Kings. The plot thickens as we discover the identity of our female visitor to the town, how she ties into the neighboring enemy town, and how it complicates things. I love the look of this book. It's like watercolor and Copic kind of looking. Visually, it's really amazing. Look at the colors on this, and just look at the feel of it. It has this raw and intentionally unfinished look that just really
it works.
Yeah, it just works so well. The colors are they're vibrant but muted at the same time. And as we know, colors and I don't always get along. I'm not sure what colors I'm looking at,
But you like them.
but yeah, they've done a great job with
A lot of oranges and peaches.
peaches in a color. Don't be silly. It's like burgundy. People make that up to fuck with me. So yeah, the number 3 is good. The Fix number 9. I don't even have. This issue we meet the horny grandma, who literally played the horny grandma in like a film before a live audience 80s style TV show where she was the grandma that always said the dirty and inappropriate things, and it was really funny. But now she actually runs a brothel based sort of on like, people keep asking our character, have you seen Hollywood what the hell is that movie? I can't remember.
Describe.
There was a detective story that took place in like Hollywood, and people keep asking him. L.A. Confidential was it? And he's like, no. She's like, L.A. Confidential. They had like a prostitution ring where they would have surgery on prostitutes and dress them up so they looked like famous Hollywood stars, so that you could like, oh, I'm sleeping with Marilyn Monroe. Oh, I'm sleeping with Raquel Welch. Well, they actually get like. What's better than the real thing, where they actually get like starlets who
Fell from grace.
yeah, and and they're like, please even the Grandma's like, please, being an actress in this town, prostitution's the least degrading thing they have to do to be a successful actress in this town. And it continues to be. There's a great dream sequence. All in all, this book continues to be. They get the girl thrown up in the flashback, and she's actually throwing up a lighter, a full pack of Smarties, and
What the hell?
and what else she throwing up? And a harmonica, like reminiscent of Mad Magazine vomiting days. Supergirl number 9, guest starring Batgirl. Is all right. It's decent. There's nothing, overwhelmingly bad about it. It just didn't particularly grab me. As opposed to Rock Candy Mountain. Rock Candy Mountain. Chickens can be kings. Devils ride the rails. And secret hobo fight clubs are amazing. Anything I do to describe this to you is going to fall short of the mark. So all you need to know is this book is the greatest book in Bookland.
It sounds like the best kind of acid trip.
Titans. Deathstroke starts to remember Wally. This is not good.
No.
And under the worst possible conditions, Wally meets Wally. Really good. This is the first issue of the Lazarus contract that's going to run from Titans to Deathstroke to Teen Titans to maybe Titans again?
Flash, maybe?
No. Possibly Nightwing.
No.
It's continued next week in Teen Titans, but I know I think it's 4 issues, so it's probably Titans, Teen Titans, Deathstroke, Titans again, maybe. I guess.
We'll see.
But it's Deathstroke versus the Titans. There's a flashback where they're in modernized version of their original costumes, but the flashback does in fact have we get the amalgamated original history, New 52 history, into Rebirth history of Ravager, original boy-type Ravager, his death, and, Slade's involvement with the Titans and all of that. And it's good. It's good. X-Men Blue. This book starts our run of, we got a bunch of Cullen Buns to get through. So, all right. The original X-Men working for Magneto find a bunch of Sentinels that call themselves mutants. Turns out that Bastion, formerly Nimrod, has rebuilt himself only to realize that mutants are an endangered species, and he wants to save them. No one can figure out why until Beast is like, it's a functionality thing, and it turns out Bastion's flawed logic is his purpose is to kill mutants. There's so few mutants, he needs to get the mutants back up to healthy numbers
kill them again.
so that he can exterminate them. And they realize, well, this is batshit insane. At the same time, it makes them wonder, if you can be doing the right thing for so wrong reasons, how much trust should they really put in Magneto as their boss? And that's always the question with Magneto. You really shouldn't have to do any research to figure that out. Grave Lilies number 2. I read Grave Lilies number 1 back between reviews, I believe. Our test subject girls have each awoken to find themselves socially ill-fitted to blend into society, but with interesting power sets for each of them. There's a manhunt for them. It's intriguing. It's like an all-girls Stranger Things with multiple 11s that more fit, like, as pumped through the glass of the original Runaways. If that makes sense. a group of kids. They're all girls. They have the powers. They're on the
Yeah. That tracks.
Regression. Our boy here, another Cullen Bunn, regression number 1. Our boy here is having problems. He's having hallucinations. He's not sure why. They involve a lot of bugs and sacrifices. His friend takes him to a comedian hypnotist who also does like hypnotherapy, but that likes to do comedy or whatever, who regresses him, and they find some things out, nothing really terribly helpful. He doesn't believe in past lives. So the other guy's like, well, maybe it's like maybe the way your mind is coping with things. It's made a separate personality, but either way, there's something going on, blah, blah, blah. Only to find that the next day he wakes up, the hallucinations are worse. He's actually seeing the person that may or may not be him, and from another life. And when he tries to call the therapist, he's like, why don't you pick up? And we see that the therapist has been sacrificed and is covered in bugs in his apartment. So, oops. Maybe regression wasn't the best if it turns out inside you is a like a bug demon. Yeah, it's a sacrificing bug god. Harrow County by Cullen Bunn. Number 23. Lovey has died. People have mixed emotions about that. Our two friends are at a crossroads that may get worse. Something older than the Haints is stalking and being scary. And of course, the backup story by Chris Schweitzer is Tales of Harrow County, the Possum Lady. About a woman who knows all your secrets and will blackmail you in this small town. But the idea is that people think she turns into a possum, and that's why you can never keep a secret from her. Possums are always hanging around learning your secrets. But actually, the possums of the town just seek her out and tell her all your gossip. Here's Black Cloud number 2 by Jason Latour, Ivan Brandon, Greg Hinkle, and Matt Wilson. This is the story. Our girl has access to another dimension. Our president is seeking a re-election. His son is an embarrassment. He pays her to take her to the other dimension, but the other dimension's a weird and warped place. She kind of loses him there and isn't sure what to do, and has some of her own problems in addition. So really, really good. This is only the second issue. The visuals are good. The concepts are great. The intrigue is there, and it's enough to keep you going. I haven't quite pieced it all together yet, but I'm willing to. Justice League of America, number 6. I loved the old school kind of, when they used to do those covers where, Ray, why are you killing Lobo? We don't know. We could be going in for any reason. But it turns out, of course, there is a perfectly good reason. Lobo's heart's been poisoned. He can't regenerate it until the poison's removed. Fastest way for him to do that is just have the heart taken out and regenerate a heart. Lobo has become an unlikely mentor to the Ryan Choi Adam. He kind of adopts him by telling him at one point about how he loves his dolphins because dolphins are pure. They have a nobility in them. And then he tells, Ryan, he's like, when I saw you working in the lab with the bat talking down to you, I was thinking, maybe you're a dolphin, kid, and that's all right. And Ryan's like, thanks, I guess, But yeah, the two of them have their own odd little mentorness going. Other things happen, of course. Superwoman number 10. She's got her powers back through the Insect Queen suit that changes to be a Superwoman suit. Not entirely. It's Jimenez leaving and the Superman Reborn storyline kind of left this, and I'm not sure exactly how much I'm liking the pieces it's picking up. But, it's okay. It's solid for what it is. I just don't know how long it's going to hold me. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Hal and, the Green Lantern... It's called Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, but inside they made John Stewart, head of the Green Lanterns. So really, it should be John Stewart and the Green Lantern Corps. Or, John, Hal, Guy, Kyle, and the Green Lantern Corps. But whatever. Or just the Green Lantern Corps. Might work. But nonetheless, it's still so much better than the entire New 52 Green Lantern. Even though some of what's being dealt with now involves leftover story arcs from the New 52 Green Lantern. So I'm taking it with a grain of salt. Also, I think at one point we could get to some cool, just smaller Green Lantern stories. I don't think everything needs to be an epic universe level. You know, they get no downtime. We get no just them policing a small whatever, or interesting things or recurring villains. What we just get is epic. It's like,
can't they just watch Tanjiro Row again?
Well, it's like Blackest Night was cool, so let's just make everything Blackest Night level big, and that's all we'll ever do with the Green Lantern. And finally, God Shaper #2 by Simon Spurrier and Jonas Goonface. The second issue finds our God Shaper. He's been played by another Shaper. And shit goes badly, it turns out, for both of them as a result. And he gets a new luggage. He now has another no-Gotti. Instead of nobody's, you're no-Gotti. Everyone has their own personal god that follows them around. But some people just don't. And usually that means you can shape other people's gods for them. But you don't get one of your own, so everybody needs you, but they all look down on you. Really good, very stylistic, and very... it's very European looking, and I like that. And you're going to read this, and either you're going to think, what the fuck? Or you're going to think, this is really cool. Or possibly you could think both. I personally go with the really cool option, and occasional what the fuck. But sometimes what the fuck's just what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Alright, and I'm out of comical books. So, look out for, Cenobites or something.
This is a Cenobite.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm just going to throw toys at you until you finish the camera.
Thanks for watching another video from Gonna Geek. If you like geeky stuff, check out our podcast network, our news and articles, and our community forums. You can find it all at GonnaGeek.com, like us at Facebook.com/GonnaGeek, tweet us at GonnaGeek, subscribe to our YouTube channel at YouTube.com/GonnaGeek, and check out our live programming at GonnaGeek.com/live.